We begin in Virginia this morning, where the state's top three leaders now face scandals. Attorney General Mark Herring admitted Wednesday he put on brown makeup in 1980 for a college party. Governor Ralph Northam remains under pressure to resign over a photo on his 1984 medical yearbook page. He says he's not in the photo, but admits putting on blackface to dress as Michael Jackson. And Northam's would-be successor, Lieutenant Governor Justin Fairfax, is denying a woman's sexual assault allegations from an encounter in 2004. And the House Intelligence Committee has opened an inquiry into whether President Trump is under the influence of Russia or any other foreign players. Congressional Democrats are also expected to begin efforts today to access President Trump's tax returns. Billings police are investigating an early morning robbery at the Cenex gas station on Broadwater Avenue. They say a white male who had his face covered with a white hood and black mask threatened the store clerk with a knife just before 2:30 this morning. The suspect fled with a small amount of cash. No injuries were reported. Union workers at ExxonMobil refinery in Billings vote down a proposed 3-year contract. This vote does not mean work will stop at the plant. That's because the union must give a 24-hour written notice before it calls a strike or the company locks out workers. Both sides expressed hope they would avoid a costly work stoppage. Derek Weber, the president of the local 11470, says plans are to go back to the table and continue negotiations with ExxonMobil. ExxonMobil spokesman Dan Carter says the company will continue to bargain in good faith. The union's previous 3-year contract expired on January 31st, but the two sides agreed to continue negotiating under a series of rolling extensions. The new contract included an 11% pay increase over 3 years, a $2,000 signing bonus for all employees, 5 days paid leave, and additional vacation time after birth or adoption of a child. United Steelworkers members at the CHS refinery in Laurel and Phillips 66 both approved new 3-year deals at the end of last month. This week's brutal cold resulted in a chilly, wet afternoon Wednesday at the Rimrock Mall when pipes burst near the main entrance. Crews worked into the night to restore at least $30,000 worth of damages to the front of the building. 2 businesses chose to close after the pipe broke due to proximity of the water and to ensure the safety of employees and patrons. The plan is to have the wheelchair accessible doors at the main entrance reopened by this morning. All other entrances and businesses in the mall are unaffected. As the forecast struggles to warm up, there are several schools with delayed starts for today. All Lame Deer public schools will have a delayed start. Buses will leave the barn at 8 and be at their first stops by 8:30. Buses should arrive at the elementary school by 10 o'clock and arrive at the high school by 10:20. St. Charles Mission will have a 2-hour late start today, as well as St. Lebray Catholic School. A Utah man and his 12-year-old son are recovering after getting lost and separated while hiking south of Bozeman. The search began Tuesday night when the pair was reported overdue from a hiking trip. 20 snowmobilers and skiers from Gallatin County and Big Sky responded to the area of Spanish Peaks, about an hour and a half from Bozeman. The boy was found around 10 p.m. asleep in the snow between the main road and the Spanish Creek cabin. He says he was able to move more quickly through the snow, but lost contact with his dad and became disoriented. After the boy warmed up and became more coherent, he was able to use landmarks to help rescuers find his father. The father was found just after 1 o'clock Wednesday morning near the Pioneer Falls Trail. Both were confused and suffering from hypothermia. They were quickly moved to an ambulance, then flown to the University of Utah Burn Center.
Blizzard conditions, it was below zero. It was just, it's worst case scenario as far as weather, and they should have never been out there. They weren't equipped for being out in that weather, and they are just very, very lucky to be alive.
Gallatin County search and rescue crews were called out 16 times in January alone. A Flathead cat is lucky to be alive after being found essentially frozen in the snow. The Animal Clinic of Kalispell posted these photos on their Facebook page after a client found their injured cat buried in the snow and unresponsive. The post read, "Her temperature was very low, but after many hours she's recovered and is now completely normal." Firefighters in Montana are one step closer to getting a health and safety bill passed in this year's legislative session. A Senate committee passed the Firefighter Protection Act on Wednesday, meaning the bill will move to the floor. As Q2's Russ Riesinger explains, it's something Montana firefighters have been fighting for a long time.
You know, people think, well, it can't happen to me. Well, it did.
Chuck Hagan spent nearly a quarter century fighting fires. He's been battling prostate cancer for the past year.
It goes 1 through 10, and I was a 7, which 10 is the worst, real aggressive.
Chuck isn't sure whether the danger he faced from exposure to smoke and other chemicals caused the cancer, but he now knows the chances of getting certain cancers are much higher in firefighters. In fact, his longtime boss at Lockwood Fire also had prostate cancer and did not survive.
We didn't think about all the dangers, smoke clear, let's get this stuff off, and, and now what I know now, I would have never done that, but...
I want to be super careful about it for myself, and then also my coworkers. We're all friends and family, basically.
Lindsay Lambert is relatively new to the job of firefighting. Equipment has improved, and a lot of precautions are now taken to keep firefighters from being exposed to possible carcinogens, but there are still risks that come with the job. One reason why she and other firefighters from across the state are pushing for Senate Bill 160 to become law. That bill would shift some of the burden of proof for illnesses caused by fighting fires from patient to insurer.
So Senate Bill 160 advances 9-1.
The bill now heads to the Senate floor.
Cancer is awful in all aspects. It doesn't matter who gets cancer, but the fact that firefighters who've given their lives for this job are getting cancer because of the job and aren't getting the health care maybe or the doctors that they need, the medical aid that they need, I think it would be super beneficial because, like I said, cancer is awful.
In Billings, Russ Riesinger, MTN News.
And Russ tells us several amendments were added, including one that would help protect insurance companies. There's no word yet on when the bill will be heard on the Senate floor. A Senate committee has decided to kill a measure that would let Montana voters decide if we should get rid of daylight saving time in the state. The bill, sponsored by Senator John Esp of Big Timber, would put the issue on the 2020 ballot. But the Senate State Administration Committee deadlocked on the bill Wednesday on a 4-4 vote. It then voted to table or kill the measure. Republican State Senator Ryan Osmond of Buffalo voted for the bill, saying he thought the people of Montana should decide the issue. But Democrat Bryce Bennett of Missoula voted no. He said staying in Mountain Standard Time just wouldn't work for the state as far north as Montana. Bennett suggested changing the bill to ask Congress to allow Montana to go to daylight saving time year-round, but his amendment failed. Shopko says it's closing more of its Montana stores. The latest round includes Hardin, Roundup, Wolf Point, Whitefish, Great Falls, and Dillon. The Roundup and Hardin stores are both Shopko hometown locations, which are smaller stores that offer specialty services, including a pharmacy. The Wisconsin-based retailer announced it's closing 70% of its stores after it filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection. Closings are expected to begin on March 17th, with all of these stores closed by May 12th. This week marks 12 years since a medical flight crash took the lives of 3 Montana responders. The crew was en route to pick up a patient in Bozeman on February 6, 2007, when their plane crashed north of Belgrade. The victims included Mercy flight pilot Vince Creel, paramedic and firefighter Paul Erickson, and nurse Darcy Dangle. While the community is still mourning the loss of the 3, many are doing what they can to keep their memories alive, including Darcy Dangle's family. Darcy's father says there is a foundation named after Darcy that helps Montana graduates pursue a career in nursing, and so far it's helped 125 students. He says it's a great way to honor Darcy, seeing that she died doing something she loved.
She really cared about all people, all kinds of people, and she wanted to help people. She wanted to help improve people's lives. She wanted to be a nurse ever since she was just a very little girl, and that never wavered. If she could improve other people's lives, that's what she did.
Rich says not only is the foundation a way to honor his daughter, but it's a way to honor nurses and the important role they play in society. Meanwhile, the kickoff to the St. Jude Dream Home giveaway was a big success yesterday morning, thanks to you, our viewers. During the first day, 1,200 tickets sold, and a total of only 6,500 are available. With the home valued at $500,000, the sale of each $100 ticket supports the fight against pediatric cancer and other life-threatening diseases. And the sooner you buy a ticket, the better. You'll be entered to win one of several secondary early bird prizes. Open houses will be held every Saturday and Sunday starting on March 30th. Tickets will be on sale until they run out. You can enter by calling the number on your screen, and that line is open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Due to Montana law, tickets cannot be purchased with a credit card. If you don't have a debit card, you can find out how to reserve a ticket with cash or check by visiting dreamhome.org, or you can call for more